Okay, so we have been discussing about the concept of yajna, right? Past few classes. So what is yajna? What is that? What is yajna? What is karma?
It's a duty you're obliged to perform. Yajna.
Pay back to nature.
Exactly, right? So yajna is an offering, right? Yaj means to offer. It's an offering which is not at our discretion. It's a mandatory offering because it's a paying of price, right? For all the things that nature gave us, we are paying back to nature, not just to nature, but all the different domains. So that is yajna, right? Yaj. Now, what Krishna is saying is what is the basic problem in samsara? What is the basic problem? What is the basic problem of samsara? Why do Vedanta always keep saying you should escape the cycle of births and deaths? Why is that? Why not enjoy every birth?
Desire.
Yeah, so
It keeps on generating more desires.
okay. Why is that a problem then?
It never ends.
Okay, let it not end.
The issue is of sukh and dukh.
Correct.
Is the continuous cycle of bhog.
Yeah, bhog is fine. I mean, if it's always bhog, then there is no problem.
Right? That is a problem, isn't it?
There is a rog also because of bhog. Suffering, right?
There's no anand. There's limited
Exactly.
anand.
The thing is, it's always the fact that the desires that we have, majority of those will always be unfulfilled, and therefore we will always have kind of emptiness. In this, if you have that attitude of bhoga, so that is the problem. Otherwise, even people who get all the bhogas also have emptiness. So everybody has dukkha. Okay, that is the problem of samsara. The problem of samsara is, like you said, desire is never ending, and therefore the amount of desires that we carry in every birth far outnumber the amount of the satisfaction, closure we get of those of the number of desires. So if it is, let's say, just a number 1,000 desires you have, 10 or 20 will be satisfied. You still have 900 and on.
Even those satisfied, like gulab jamun, for instance, you may like gulab jamun, you may keep on eating gulab jamun. After a while,
right.
you hate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So once one is closed, we generate another 20 more. Right. So it is already getting more and more. Desire will never go less and less. As you satisfy it, it actually gets more and more and more, because now the threshold is even more. It needs even more. Right. So that is the problem of samsara. Otherwise, we are all fine. Right? If this was not the problem, if we get desire and that desire can be satisfied and there is complete closure, then samsara is not a problem at all. Right? Samsara is never a problem. Samsara is a problem because the number of desires always far outnumber what gets satisfied or what gets closed in every birth. And it's in every birth it's increasing. So that means, the number of desires that is there in the Sanchita is innumerable. You cannot even count that is the number of desires that is there, of which only a few gets out as prarabdha and gets, out through us, manifested through us, as our desires and motivations in life. Right? That's just a speck of what is there in the whole storehouse. So that is the problem of samsara. So the problem of samsara is what? Problem of kama, problem of karma. Right? Because sanchita karma. And what is preventing us from satisfying all the desires? Our karma. Right? We have the kama, but we don't have the phala. Why is that? What is coming in between us and the fruitification of our desires? What is standing in between us and the fruitification of our desires?
What you've done previously.
Exactly, right? That is our karma phala that is standing between us and the fruitification of the desires. Right? So that is the problem. So karma is a problem. Right? Now the question is, how to make karma go away? That's basically what Krishna is saying. How to make karma go away. One solution he saw and criticized was not to do any karma. Right? But that is impractical, because we will by nature always do karma. So there is no way that you cannot do karma. And also if you don't do karma, it is again like performing bad karma. So that is not a solution at all. Right? So the solution is, you have to do karma. That is default. You have to do karma. But when you do karma, you will have fruits of the karma. The outcomes will stick to your sanchita. What is then? How do I? There is no way of getting out. Right? You have to do karma by default, but karma generates more karma, and therefore there is no way out of karma. So that is where Krishna brings in the concept of yajna. There is a karma, even though you do it, does not bind you in the cycles of births and deaths. And that is what is yajna. My question is this. You are here for second chapter. In the second chapter, Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. We discussed this a lot, right, in detail. Focus on the effort, not on the outcome. How is that different from yajna? Is Krishna saying two different things here? He's saying, do yajna, there will be no karma phala. In the second chapter, he says, if you focus on the karma and not on the outcome, there will be no karma phala. Why a whole chapter, a second chapter? Why a third chapter called Karma Yoga, when it has already been said in the second chapter? I want to know, what is the difference between Karmanyevadhikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana, and Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. That's what Krishna is saying here. Anything done other than yajna will always have karma bandhana. Krishna is saying that. In the second chapter he says, anything in which you focus on the outcome, there is karma bandhana. Two different things.
Well, see, in the second chapter, the fact that you focused on the actions, but not the result, because you don't have control over the results at all.
Right. You never had and you never will be. Yes.
Over the results. Whereas now you're saying, in Yajna, you're trying to say that all the stuff that I received, I want to give it back.
Right.
Appreciation for it. It's kind of different concept in that regard.
But no, it's two different concepts. But what I'm saying is, are there two different solutions? Can you not do yajna and just focus on efforts and not focus on outcome and take off the karma bandhana? Or I can focus on results and make it yajna and I'll take karma bandhana out of it. Is it two different solutions or is it one solution? Think about it.
It's one solution. In one case he's saying don't worry about the results that are coming in, but you have to have an effort going into it.
Right.
So it is, in reality it is together. To me it is coherent in terms of its argument.
Right. What extra that yajna brings in that was not there in Karmanyevadhikaraste?
The compulsion of doing it, whereas not looking for the results is the first one.
Not looking for the result, okay. But in yajna, are we looking for result or not?
You do it with purpose, so you are looking for results.
You are looking for result. Right?
It's an obligation.
But there is a similarity between both these actions.
Right.
In the first one, if you are doing something not for the end result,
Yes.
then that takes away the issue of selfishness. There's no personal gain or personal motive in your action if you just focus on your effort and you're not doing it for the enjoyment of the fruits or the results.
Right.
In yajna also it's the same aspect, because you are doing it as a payback because out of gratitude of what you have received
Right.
from nature, from society, and so you are basically paying back the debt. You acknowledge how you are part of the bigger system, bigger equation.
Right.
And so, even in that equation, you are minimizing the ego or the selfishness. So, one is an amplification of the other with a slightly twist in how it's describing the action.
Exactly. So it's not. See, I said, end of second chapter, Gita ends in what it has to say. Right. Everything else that comes after second chapter is more detailed description of what is already been said. And especially Karma Yoga is a detailed description of the shloka Karmanyevadhikaraste. And in after a few concepts that come after that. So what Karmanyevadhikaraste says is when you focus focus on the efforts and not on the outcome, there is no karma bandhana, right? Just like a child learns to walk by focusing only on the walk and not on, I should do it by 1 week or in the next 2 days. It doesn't do that. It just focuses on the efforts and enjoys the efforts itself without focusing on the outcome, right? But then this is a generality, right? What Krishna brings in with Yajna is the context. We are not silos, right? We are not islands. We are connected to nature. We are a part of nature. We are in 3 domains simultaneously. We are in the domain of Adhyatma, our body and the mind. We are in the domain of Adhibhuta, society, and Adhidaiva, nature. So what Krishna is doing is Yajna is Karmanyevadhikaraste plugged into nature and society.
He's making it more practical, more realistic.
Exactly. That is like, how do you use that and live in society? That means here when he says Karmani eva adhikaraste, what are those karmas? Yajna karma. Karmas, when he says focus on the efforts, those efforts are your responsibilities and duties in society. That's what he's talking about.
So one is idealistic, one is realistic. That's
One is more of theoretical base.
Exactly. One is applied.
When the concept of yajna is how that works in society, right? When it's applied in society, this is how it is. That becomes yajna. So it's not 2 different concepts. It's actually more detailed contextual application of Karmanyevadhikaraste, right? But one thing is here, yajna applies both to nishkama karma and kamya karma. Right? So you can focus on the result and effort and still be doing your duties. You can do duty for a particular result. You can do duty without expecting a particular result. There are 2 kinds of things. And we will see that. And again that becomes nishkama karma and kamya karma on what you do. But that's the basis. That means when an individual is born in society and in nature simultaneously, he is born with roles and responsibilities. He is born with duties towards, I said 5 domains, right? Towards nature, Adhidaiva, and towards your Pitrus, your ancestors, right? Pitru Yajna, Manushya Yajna towards fellow human beings, Bhuta Yajna towards animals, Rishi Yajna towards sharing, the sharing of wisdom or knowledge. So these are the 5 domains in which we have responsibility to give back, right? The concept is very clear. It is what we give back is what comes to us. It is always giving before receiving. Nothing, you do not receive unless you have somewhere given. If you have not given, you will never receive. That is very clear concept in Vedanta. It is what is given that is received. If it is not given, it is never received. So even though, like in this world, we might think, okay, we might get few things without doing anything. You might be very lucky and get things, but you have not done any efforts for that.
In Christianity, they use the reap as you sow. So basically, you reap based on what you sow in the field. So
Right.
Exactly.
Karma theory.
A similar concept.
Yeah. So karma theory. That's the karma theory. That is, you give, and that's what you get. So, but the thing is, there is a lot of time gap and all of those things. So, all of these things do not happen simultaneously, right? Like there are how many? There is 3 causes of karma. What are the 3 causes of karma? When we looked at the karma theory, an individual has 3 causes through which he expresses karma. What are those 3 causes? Purushakara, our effort, Daiva, the universe supporting or opposing our efforts, and Hata is what is in our nature, to persist or not to persist. That basically comes from our nature. So these are the 3 causes for any and every action, right? But also, I mean, this is an action. Like when I take this and drink water, isn't there an effort and then a fulfillment? Okay, is that Purushakara, Daiva, everything together, or is it just Purushakara? My question is, are there instantaneous results, or are there results that is always lagging the effort?
Both, I think there is some which is instantaneous.
Correct.
Something right.
Exactly, right? See, always think, any result has an individual effort component and also has the universe component. That means that which we do not control is also there. They are both tied in, right? That's the prarabdha karma as well as your purushakara. But purushakara can have instantaneous results. There is nothing which says that, hey, whatever I do will always go to my storehouse. That's not how it works. I mean, I write very well in my exam and I pass the exam, that's fine. That's instantaneous result. But the result is always instantaneous. Whether it is delayed or multiplied, force multiplied, comes from your prarabdha karma, your old karma.
Like the example you gave of rowing on a boat.
Correct.
Right? If you're rowing on a boat,
So when you're
there's
rowing,
no wind, then you get immediate.
yeah, it is
If the wind is blowing
Exactly.
you, it's helping you.
right.
Okay?
So your outcome is always equal to efforts, right? Plus nature or minus nature. That is, either it is opposing you or it is supporting you, right? But if it is if you take the thing out, it is basically every karma has instantaneous result. But whether it is delayed or denied or given instantaneously is basically comes from the universe. That means that which we do not control is controlled by nature. That which we control is controlled by us, which is our efforts. Right? So it is not like every karma goes to Sanchita. Right? Otherwise, there is I want to drink water. If I don't get instantaneous result, I will never be able to drink water. Right? But there are also situations where a person is very thirsty and nobody offers water. Right? That is where universe is opposing it. I want one drop. Nobody is giving it. It's not available at all. That is where universe is coming. That is where our karma is coming. But that karma, if there is no holding of that, then efforts are, the results are instantaneous. Results are always there. Right? So it is no hard and fast rule that every karma that I do today will not have a result now. Definitely. Let's say I do a bad deed and I go to jail. Is it because of this bad deed or is it my prarabdha karma? Both together, actually.
Yeah.
If universe is supporting you, it prevents you to be sent to jail. Right? If it is opposing you, even if you don't do it, you will go to jail. Right? It is like that. It's pushing or pulling you away.
We'll
Right?
bail you out, don't worry.
Right. Huh?
We'll bail you out.
That's a part of the karma, right? Good. So that is the thing. So you need to be very clear on that. Results are instantaneous. Many of the results are finally, because to percolate to go in different layers across time, it takes a lot of time, and therefore it goes to Sanchita. Right? A lot of things, they go to Sanchita. But a lot of efforts are instantaneous or within a certain time period in our own lifetime. We don't have to wait for the Sanchita karma to come back. It will happen within our own lifetime. Right?
Also, you mentioned it's not what you do, what you think.
Correct.
Right? So, in which of these three does that thinking boost?
What? See, I said, you never do karma. What do you own? Karma is owned by nature. See, Krishna says, whether you wish or not, you will keep doing karma. Why? It is nature. Nature is doing through us. So every karma that we do is through nature. Then what do we own?
Intention.
We don't own action.
Intention.
Desire. Desire is mine. Action is not mine. That's why karma is desire. Right? The thing is, there are so many things that influenced me to think a certain way and to do a certain thing. Like my judgment, the way I think, what motivates me. Everything is what I've got from nature and society and all the external influences, right? That's what is called prabhava and swabhava. Right? Beautifully, they divide the influence into two. Prabhava and swabhava. Swabhava is hata. Prabhava is what? External influences, prarabdha karma, all of those things come under. So, prarabdha, purushakara and hata can be divided into two. Purushakara is action which is happening, but prarabdha is what? Prabhava. Hata is what? Swabhava. Sometimes prabhava trumps swabhava and you act a certain way. And then it wears out and then you act another way. You never know. Right? You can never judge an individual as a good person or a bad person. Because you never know whether it's a swabhava or a prabhava. You never know that.
You're talking about turning a switch on, but you may not actually go and turn that light switch on because there may be other influences. So
it's like, a bad person with a very good company of people might start doing very good things. Right? But eventually, the swabhava trumps it, and then he might think, oh, what am I doing? This is useless, and come back to us. I gave the example of dog's tail. Dog's tail is what? Swabhava. Right? But prabhava is, people who we are with. Like we reflect the 5 people who are in our innermost circle, always. Right? That's why you need to always choose your friends with a lot of care. Because what you are is a sum of the 5 or 6 people who are in your inner circle. Right? What is that? Prabhava. Right? You are the prabhava. Until the prabhava wears out and then your swabhava comes up. Right? Yes.
We've talked about karma, we've talked about yajna. How does the interplay of the 3 gunas also impact yajna, for example?
See, 3 gunas, again 3 guna is what? It is again nature. Right? So, when sattva comes, my thinking is very clear. I understand things very clearly. When rajas comes, then there is a lot of desire that gets hold of me to do selfish things for myself. What is in it for me? What is in it for me? That is when rajas holds. Right? And when tamas holds, nothing is clear. Everything is, there is no clarity in my thinking. I'm in a lot of ignorance. All of those things arise. So those are all nature that brings those. What holds our thinking is gunas. When it is a clear thinking, it's sattva guna. When it is passionate thinking, it is rajoguna. When there is no clarity at all, it is tamoguna.
How much control over those gunas do we have mentally?
We have no control over the gunas. Because gunas are prarabdha. They are happening in nature. You can become a guna atita by purushakara. Again, there are, definitely it's always all the 3 causes always acting, right? So this one cause we can never control because this is nature doing. These are hormones going, testosterone pumps, rajoguna comes, right? And when serotonin comes, sattva-guna. Maybe there is some equation somewhere where the gunas equal all these things in the body. But that is what nature is giving us. But even when that is given by nature, you still can stand apart, stand outside of it. That thing is purushakara, where you can go outside or transcend those influences and still act. That becomes it.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I'm very frustrated or depressed or angry,
right,
it's going to be where rajas and tamas may be predominant.
Correct.
It will be very difficult for me to perform a yajna or selfless act. Okay, until I resolve those gunas. Okay, and that this changes on a minute-to-minute basis throughout the day.
Right.
My state of mind will change. Sometimes I'll be very happy, sometimes excited, sometimes depressed, so on and so forth.
Right.
And that's just the interplay that is changing on a second-by-second basis.
Right.
And so my question is, how do I acknowledge the impact of those gunas on my actions? And number 2 is, how do I optimize those 3 gunas so that I can do?
No. See, even with rajoguna you can do yajna. It is like I'm doing something for my selfish gain. But again, these are the things that I have to do, but I'm doing it for myself. You can do that. I am not doing it for myself, I am doing it to pay back. I am doing it for the good of the whole community, of nature and all that. When that thinking comes, you have clarity where Sattva Guna comes. When Raja Guna comes, you are thinking, I don't even want to do this. Right? So gunas will come. Gunas will be there, and you never know which guna predominates you at what time. You cannot do that. But you always at every time have that ability, which comes from what? That Deha and Atma are different, right? That's what the first principle of Sankhya is. Because Deha and Atma are different, you can always transcend the play of the gunas.
Because really, how the gunas play or affect you is going to be reflective of your knowledge, of Sankhya knowledge, for example.
Sankhya, yeah.
Yeah. So again, so to me that is one of the constant tussles.
See, the basic concept is what? Gunas do not take hold of you. You take hold of guna. Right? See, the samsara bandhana is not the world imprisoning us. Right? It is we holding it tightly. And then we are saying, oh, let me go, and you are the one who is holding it. And you say, let me go, right? Gunas will never do anything. They are all what? Basically, they are insentient. They don't do anything. They just are there. But it is you, when you are watching a TV show, you can be completely involved in it and be involved in the emotions of the TV show. But who is the cause? Who is attached? You, the viewer, not the TV show. TV show is still, simply there. It is you who choose to get into it or outside of it, right? So the bandhana is not from the world side. Bandhana is from the individual side. So that's the thing.
Is that when you talked about, doing a mental shift? And then you come to a level where whatever is good or bad, you just regard it as equal.
That is what is, sthita prajnatva, that is what. Yeah, where you focus on the effort and not on the outcome. And that means whatever the outcome is, you enjoy the effort and do not care about the outcome, whether it's a good to you or not.
If somebody has reached that stage, can they go back and do things in Rajas?
It is like
Tamas, but at least in the Rajas stage.
No, because see, it is an evolution of understanding and clarity, right? Once you get that, it's like a baby or a toddler who enjoyed toys and he has grown up. No, it no longer attracts him anymore. Right? He has moved on. So that is the evolution. When you get that knowledge, your thinking is already evolved. You no longer are attracted by it. That's why I said you are not suppressing your desire. Right? If you did that, then you would be, always attracted to that, and you might go back to it. But you have actually transcended it. Right? So through your understanding, so now it holds no charm to you. It's gone. All the charm is gone. It's lost its charm. So it is one way. Once you have transcended it, and that's it. That is because it's a growth it's an evolution of thinking. It's not something that you suppressed or it's not like that.
And it continues for the lifetime.
Yes, lifetimes. Yeah. Once you get it, you always have it. Okay, what was the thinking was? Because we have gone through so many things. I started off with something.
Trikonas.
Yajna.
The questions are karma. Why do we?
Why do we do, right?
Yajna.
Why do we do yajna? So you can do it for desire or for selfish desire or not. Both are there. But the highest epitome of yajna is to do it selflessly. If you do it selfishly, if you don't do it at all, it is papa karma. Inaction leading to papa karma. Right? If you do it with desire, then universe supports you in your bhoga. If you do it without desire, it becomes nishkama karma, and it supports you in your yoga. It supports you in the path of knowledge. But universe supports those who give back. That's basically the principle of yajna. Right? So Krishna is saying, your karma will not be bandhaka. When he says karma will not be bandhaka, it is always nishkama karma. Right? If you start with kama karma, your karma will be bandhaka in the sense that, yes, you might be enjoying, all the wealth and everything might be good for you, but still, it's not like you escape samsara. Still, you'll have frustrations in life. and all of those things will be there, your desires will be more. But you'll be in the lap of luxury. That's basically what it is. Right? Because you have given back to universe has force multiplied it and gives back to you. Right? But when Krishna says yajna as breaking the karma bandhana, that is always nishkama karma. It's always nishkama karma. So Krishna is telling a story here, right? So he's giving what purakalpa. I said arthavada is you stress on something good, or you criticize as something bad, or you give an example of story, or you quote from a great man, a wise man. So these are all what is called as arthavada, right? In interpretation of text, as I was saying last time. So here Krishna is saying sahayajnaha. So this is what shloka is this? This is number 10, right? So number 10, Krishna is saying sahayajnaha prajaha srishtva pura uvacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam esha vaha astu ishtaka madhuk. So this is Krishna is saying. So now this is Krishna is saying this. There is a story during creation. Creation, Prajapati is Brahma. Brahma, the creator himself, created people with yajnas, with duties and responsibilities. Everybody is created with duties and responsibilities when they are part of nature and society. Everybody is created with duties and responsibilities. And responsibilities in all these 5 domains, right? Brahma did the creation and he says, Prajapati said, Anena prasavishyadvam. Use anena means from this. That means he's talking about yajna. Yesha vaha astu ishtakamaduk. He's saying, use this karma, use this yajna to satisfy your all needs. So Brahma is talking both about what? Nishkama karma and kamya karma. Right? It is because he cannot only tell for people who want moksha. What is the percentage of people in the world who will want moksha? 0.0000, whatever. Again, as yugas progress, you can add more zeros after that point. Then you get. That's why in the purusharthas, it's always 3 purusharthas first. What is purushartha? What are the purusharthas? How many purusharthas are there? Purusharthas. Chaturvida purusharthas. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Purusharthas. Right? That means basically what purushartha means? What makes sense to man. Purushasya artha. What makes sense to us. And always, when they talk, they only talk about 3 purusharthas. Because moksha doesn't make sense to everybody. Right? Dharma makes sense, morality, ethics, yeah, of course, it makes sense. Artha makes sense, of course it makes sense. Kama makes sense, of course it makes sense. Regardless of which religion you are, regardless of where you are born, everybody understands these 3 purusharthas. Okay? Moksha, you need special training to even desire it. Otherwise, no, people only desire 3. Right? Animals desire 2. Animals desire 1 actually, not even 2. You don't even need artha. Artha is a means to an end. So desire 1. Man desires 3. Some desire 2. Dharma don't want dharma. But usually 3. You need special, that's why it is called samskara. What does samskara mean? What does samskruti means? Okay. What does culture mean? Samskruti. No, give me a few words answer, not one word. What is samskara? Now when you say, this guy had a very good samskara, what does that mean?
Good deeds.
He always acted in
Not good deeds.
I think it is multiple things. It includes his surroundings, upbringing, his life, everything.
Okay, all of this. But when you say samskara, which is actually culture, what does that mean? It is being cultured means what?
Conditioning.
What is the opposite of cultured? Wild, raw, right? So, cooked food raw food, which is cultured, which is not cultured. Cooked is cultured, right? Cooked has been trimmed, primed, refined, right? That refinement is what culture is. Samskruti, samskara means a set of things that you do to refine the wild nature that we have, or the raw wildness that we have. That, if somebody is angry, and if you are wild, then you are doing destructive things. But when you do samskara to that, then you use it in a very constructive way. Right? That is what samskruti is. Samskruti is, a person is cultured when his reactions are tempered to situations. Right? When somebody goes wild, he is uncultured. Right? Cultured speech is what? You can go off and say all the bad things. It's not uncultured speech. Cultured speech is what? Saying the right things at the right time in the right way.
Every time Obama speaks, that's culture speech.
Exactly. That is what? Samskruta. What is Samskruta? Sanskrit. Sanskrit. Samskruta means the language that is cultured. When you speak Sanskrit, even if you scold somebody, it is like praise, right? How much you try, to scold in Sanskrit, it looks like poetry. Because the language is like that. It is Samskruta, it is cultured, it's trimmed. Because every ucharana is stressed. Dakara, dhakara, ha, ah, ka, all of those things. All of, the speech is that cultured. So you cannot have raw speech. Raw is prakruta, right? Trimmed is samskruta. So these are things. So that samskruti is that. Again, I've lost the whole thought. Why did I start? I started on the
continuation on the number 10, right? You're talking about the doing things for self-desires, right?
Right.
As we were talking about that.
Arthavada basically.
Oh, Arthavada, correct. Yeah. So, Brahma has, says, Yajna is there. You can use Yajna to fulfill your desire. Oh, what is happening? Okay. Did I say something wrong?
They were used to it.
Well, they're doing their duties now. So when Prajapati or Brahma created the world, basically people, he created them with their yajnas. Right? That means he created them with their responsibilities, roles, within nature, within society, to animal kingdom, everything. He created with that, that. And then he said, hey, there are two kinds of people. Right? I think I started off with, not everybody wants moksha as a purushartha. They do not understand. I said, 3 understand it. That's how it started. So, when you do for people, society, you have to do it for what majority people are, right? Who are kamakarmis. So, this yajna applies to both kamakarmis and nishkamakarmis, both. Right? Brahma says here, hey, if you want to enjoy, remember the first rule of enjoyment. You get back what you give. Right? That's what he says. Anena prasavishyadvam. Satisfy with this. Satisfy means the universe is what? No longer a dead universe. Universe is a living universe. That means we are interacting with universe at every point of time. Because behind the universe of natural forces are conscious entities that are the Abhimani Devatas of the universe. They are always witness. We are always interacting with these Devatas. And I said, how many Devatas are there that are directly involved with us? 33 Devatas, right? So those Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Prajapati, Indra, all of these, we are interacting with them as natural forces. We are interacting with the natural forces, and they stand behind as the conscious entities that control those natural forces. So we are always interacting with nature, we are always interacting with society, we are always basically interacting with these devas. So this is a living universe. I think, I don't know, many years ago, Oprah Winfrey, she came up with, there's a documentary or something that they started selling. It was called Secret or something. There's a video.
There's a book called The
There's
Secret.
a book called
Yeah, book
And there's a film.
and the film, right?
Yes.
And the film, and you know what the thing is, the central idea of that is, you get back what you give. And universe is living. Basically, that's the idea.
I thought there was a series of books, Secrets, right?
No, one book.
Just was one.
One book. I've not read the book, but I've seen a little bit of, the film, the documentary. But the concept is, hey, the central concept it starts off with, hey, universe is not dead. Universe is actually alive. You interact with it on an everyday basis. What you think, goes back to the universe and you get back things from it. So you give and you get back that. So that idea was there, and it was a big, I think they marketed like a movie or something at one point of time. So that, basically it all comes down from, what Krishna is saying here. So that is what it is, right? It's a living universe. And every thought, every desire, every action will create impressions in the universe, and we get back things, based on our karma in this universe. That means, whatever you have and whatever you will get, you deserve it. It is, even though it is very cold to say that, but basically that is the truth. Like you said something, right, long back. You get what you deserve, not what you desire or something. That is exactly what that is.
So let's try to put this in commercial terms here.
Yeah.
You have people like Warren Buffett who, they own $8.5 billion, so on and so forth. And you have a person in a textile mill who's, putting in a lot of effort every single day, toiling away
Yes.
for pennies. How does that fit into this equation where you get what you give?
Correct.
So you got Warren Buffett who's speculating, sitting in an air-conditioned office and doing some transaction, with his fingertips, okay,
Mhm.
buy, sell, and earning money while he sleeps
Yes.
at night. And then you got this textile laborer who's trying his best every single day, working 12 hours a day, sweating, getting, like I said, $100 every single day. So they're not. It doesn't look like there's a balance per se, is there?
No. Why?
Because somebody's getting.
Prarabdha. Right? So it is every outcome equals effort plus universe or minus universe. Right? Universe is completely against you because it made you, take birth in a place, in a situation where there was no growth opportunity, number one.
It happened to everybody. Every time you bought a stock, 100 share, 200 share, some go up and some down. Right? I mean, as I went to I bought a bunch of stock and some have flourished and most of them haven't flourished.
Yeah,
So,
right?
It's what you said before. It's your girdle, right?
It's what?
Your girdle, what do you call it? You've got a certain amount that you're going to get of wealth or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and you may win the lottery, okay? But if you're not destined to keep that money, after a while it'll all go and you'll come back to your position.
Yeah.
That's why people who win the lottery all of a sudden, they spend, they do everything, and then they will back they won. Yeah.
Or even worse than what.
Or worse, yeah.
Again, I see it as what you measure happiness with. Is it wealth or is it, what is it you measure? He may be having,
True.
as much as
Perfect. Yeah. That's true, right?
What do you measure your happiness with? Ultimately, it is happiness.
Satisfaction.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
So, what is it that you're measuring? Okay, he's having his karma, he has his prarabdha. Doesn't mean that he has all everything. That's right.
No, that's true, right? I mean, again, we have to say, hey, look at this guy in the textile mill, who's working like this, and look at this guy, Warren Buffett. Maybe this guy in textile mill is happier. We don't know. That's how. But let's say, but for all practical purposes, this guy is toiling away, and he's, has a very frustrating life, completely depressed. But this guy has a, all the comforts he wants, and he may be very happy, for all we know. But the thing is, finally it comes back to, maybe this guy is more happier than this guy. It can be like that. But again, everything comes from efforts plus universe in terms of Warren Buffett, minus universe in terms of that guy whose work is not bringing any result.
Or he may be happy with what he's getting.
Yeah, that is
He's happy because he's not having to worry about what he's going to do with his wealth. Warren Buffett is worried about somebody's always going to take my wealth. He's always
No,
worried.
that's what, right?
Protecting
The one song we were talking, right?
Yeah.
When you have money, a handful of money, the money, you are securing the money. And if you have the money till your neck, right, the money is controlling you more. So
the more money you have, the money controls you more. Yeah, something like that.
No, but my point was the effort and the payback. Okay, so and that's what I was focusing on in purely commercial terms. What Arundhati brought up is very true.
Right.
The satisfaction is an intangible that will be different from person to person.
Right. And the most critical, actually. Even though it is intangible, it is the most critical, yes.
But in purely commercial terms, there's going to be this disparity that we have to reconcile, okay, and
Correct.
understand
Correct.
why it's happening, because it's so easy to say, this stockbroker, he's, like I said, he goes to bed at night and he wakes up next morning, $50 million.
Yes, yeah.
He didn't.
So that is the thing. So universe, that is the whole point of Yajna is this. Hey, do you want the universe to back you, or do you want the universe to oppose you?
Back you.
That's what Krishna is saying. Hey, if you want that, make sure you give. Because you may be enjoying the fruits now, but you're not giving now, tomorrow it's going to oppose you. That is the point.
Paraspara karma.
No, karma is fine, but whether it is a paraspara karma giving, or, giving directly, swakarma, samyoga karma, whatever it is, it says, you will get back what you give. In the sense that, you give with a very clear heart, very good intention, the universe will multiply that and give back. Basically, that means you satisfy the devatas with your giving, and they give back. Which we will see that in the next few shlokas.
Are you giving with the intention of receiving then?
You can. That's what Krishna is saying. That's what Brahma is saying. Hey, you want to fulfill your desires? Give. You want to earn jnana? Give.
But that's still with the desire to get back something, right?
Yes.
So, but
See, you cannot be a zombie, right? A zombie is a Christian concept. Because in Christianity, you can have a being without a soul. For us, it is like, it is like saying colorless red color. It doesn't make sense. Red color means color. How can it be colorless? For us, it doesn't make sense, because a being means a being with a jiva. You cannot have a being without a jiva.
they also believe animals don't have.
Yeah, and also animals don't have souls, right?
So the biggest, to expand on what Ramana just said, if you give with the focus on receiving, on benefiting,
Right.
You are creating karma. Whereas if you give without expecting
Right.
any payback,
You are not creating
you're
karma.
not creating.
Exactly,
That's a
yes,
huge difference. That is
yes.
the quantum step.
But when you give with expectation, you are creating karma. You are creating good kshaya karma. It's called kshaya karma. Why it is called kshaya karma? What do you know what kshaya is? Which finally diminishes, right? That means I get some enjoyment. Once I enjoy it, that's it. It is gone. It's gone. But when you give without expecting, it creates akshaya karma. That means, like she said, knowledge, once you have it, you're already transferred to a different level. There is no kshaya from there. It is akshaya. That means it will support you at a different level and forever. Right? So it's created akshaya karma. But when you desire something for yourself, you're desiring basically, in your own small, world that we live in, without knowing about what the universe has, is doing and all of those things. We are only thinking about ourselves. Yes, you are giving, and therefore it gives you back. But again, it gives you, and it says, okay, the time has started now. And as and when you enjoy it, it diminishes, and one day it's gone. So the question is, hey, do you want akshaya karma? Okay, do yajna this way. hey, do you want Kshaya Karma, but you want to have universe support you? Do Yajna this way. So both are there. I mean, Brahma cannot say, okay, I have one solution only for these guys who are 0.0001% of society. You need to have something for everybody, right? Yajna is for everybody. You do it with desire, does good to you. You do it without desire, it does even more good to you. Basically, that's what it is. So, Yajna, that's why Yajna should be done by everybody, with or without desire. Okay? So, what Brahma is saying here at creation is, hey, I'm giving you Yajna, these duties and responsibilities, give. And once you give, you satisfy the universe. You satisfy the Devata Shaktis behind the universe. They are the constructive forces behind nature. When they are satisfied, they give back to you much more. Right? Esha vaha astu ishta kamaduk. That means this becomes your kamadenu. Like, in English there's a cash cow. I think it probably came from kamadenu. Right? The desire giving or boon giving cow, Nandini. Right? So, it says, hey, this will become your cash cow. You do, it gives you, and you can milk all your desires from this. But what you need to do? Give. You got to give in all of these domains. Then you can reap rich rewards. So Kama Karma is there. Nishkama Karma is there. All of them are there. What you want to milk from it is your thing. Right? You want to milk knowledge from it? Go for it. If you want to milk wealth, and comforts from it, go for it. That's what it's a kamadenu. It gives you what you want. But it gives you only when you give. Right? So, that's what he says look at Shloka 11, that's what he says, Krishna saying, Devan bhavayata anena, te devaha bhavayantu vaha, parasparam bhavayantaha, shreyaha param avapsyatha. That means, when you give in these domains, Devan bhavayantu, that means all the devas, they get energized, they get satisfied with what you've offered. And then what they do? They give back. They give back in the form of rains, they give back in the form of good harvest, good weather, everything good, good luck. Everything comes to you. Right? Te devaha bhavayantu vaha. The devas will stand in support of you in water. So if I put some effort, they're pushing me even more. When I take 5 steps, they put 50 steps, push me in 50 steps. So, they are pushing me, supporting me. That is what Deva will do. They'll satisfy me. Sorry? Te devaha bhavayantu vaha, for you, parasparam bhavayantaha. Now there is this thing. We are in nature connected in a paraspara bhava. What is paraspara? Supportive of one another. Devas support us. We need to support Devas. Did you know that? We need to support Devas. See, in English has done the worst thing. Everything comes under God. Right? But Parabrahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, these are actually God. Right? Paramatma is different. Devas are completely different. There is no word in English because there is no concept. Right?
Angels.
Angels is something else. So, God, Devas are forces of nature. They are forces of nature that we are constantly interacting with. They are like portfolio holders of nature with whom we are constantly interacting. Above them stand another set of Devatas. Above them stands Prakriti, nature. Above stands Paramatma. Right? So, in terms of the Devata Taratamyas, if you look at it, let's say if Vishnu is Paramatma, Lakshmi is nature. Right? Shri Bhu Durga, 3 rupas of Sattva Rajas Tamas, she stands next. Right? Shakti is Tamas, Bhu is Rajas, Lakshmi or Shri is Sattva. So she stands there as the mother of everything. After that comes Brahma, the creator, Prana, the giver of life force, and then the quantum, the correlate Shakti of these are Saraswati and Bharati. So they stand there as the topmost Devatas, right? Which evil can never touch. Brahma and Prana, evil cannot touch. Then you come down. Then you have Shesha, Garuda, Rudra, Shiva. And then there correlates. They are the Shaktis. They are correlate Shaktis. They are the, Varuni, and Suparni, Parvati. They come under. And they are the ones who control the mental faculties. Right? They are the mental faculties. Again, they cannot be touched by evil. Then you come down to the Deva level. They are the ones, Indra stands at the topmost. And then all of this, Agni, Varuna, Vayu, all of this. They are what? Sensory devatas. In us, sense organs, knowing, organs of actions, all of these are devata shaktis. Thinking comes on top. Right? Indra Kama are the top, right? Devata shaktis. So, Manas is ruled by Indra and also Kama, because desire is there in it. So, Indra Kama are standing in the top. On top of Indra, come what? Buddhi Abhimani Devata, Ahankara Abhimani. Who is Ahankara Abhimani Devata? Rudra, Shiva. Right? Buddhi, Ahankara. They all come under Shesha, Garuda, Rudra, all of these. Then Chitta Chetana comes under Prana and Brahma. So these are the Devatas, and they're correlated to what is there in the body. The whole Taratamya of the Devata Shaktis is also reflected in the body. The body, the physical body is Panchabhutas. Again, the Panchabhuta Devatas are there. Okay? And then, on top of it, the sense of knowing and sense of doing or undoing, ruled by Devata Shaktis. Right? Manas is Indra and Kama. On top of them are Buddhi and Ahankara, Rudra, Shesha, Garuda, these deities. And then on top of it is Prana and Brahma. They are the Chitta Chetana, Abhimanis. Okay? So that is why when you have, for example, bhaya, fear and all that, what do they say, ask you to do?
Pray God.
Which one?
Maruti.
Why?
He represents strength and
Prana. He's not Vayu. He's Prana. Simply, they say Vayu Putra. He's Prana actually. Right? Bhimasen. See, if you look at Mahabharata, the one person who killed all evil was not Arjuna. It was Bhimasena. He completely destroyed every evil that was there at that time. Starting from Jarasandha, who was the worst. Not Duryodhana was not the worst. Jarasandha was the worst. He kills Jarasandha. He kills the whole Kaurava. Every brother of the Kauravas are killed by Bhima. Arjuna doesn't. Arjuna only does sides in all of these.
He did only Karna.
Karna, but Karna was, Surya Deva, right? Special case.
Special case.
But the real evil of that time, who destroyed it? It was not Arjuna. It was Bhimsena. So always, Prana takes care of all the evils. When Prana comes, evil is gone. That's why, the breath. Breath is the only support for everything. Right? Even if you have some bad thoughts, you say, focus on the breath. Why? Because once you focus on prana, you have the strength to come out of any bad situation or any bad thing. That's why prana is that important. And that's why all the devatas can be... Did you know that asuras can affect devatas? Devatas can have asura avesha. You know what asura avesha is? That means asuras get into... for example, some force gets into and gets things done through you. Right? That's called avesha. Coming in to your psyche and driving you to do things. Even Devata Shaktis can have Asura Avesha. For example, Indra can have Asura Avesha. And that's when he does something bad and he becomes, he loses his kingdom and all of those things.
In fact, that's the foundation for many of these mythological stories.
No, there's no mythological story.
Well, the stories.
Stories, Pauranika stories.
Pauranika stories,
yes.
Where you have a person on earth who is doing penance or meditation. It scares Indra, who then sends his apsaras to distract.
Why does he send?
Because he's scared.
No,
he's scared about something.
No, he's not scared. It is like, does this person have the character in it to use the power for the right thing? That's why he It's always a test. And also, you never want the evil to get more powerful. You always want evil to be powerless. That is always there. They always try to do that.
That's what you mentioned, right? That's why we need to give to make the God strong.
Correct. That's what it all started, right? So, that's the reason why, since, there is in the Upanishads, there's a very beautiful story in one of the Upanishads, where the Asuras try to inject Papa into different devatas, and how it is manifested in us, because the devatas rule the sensory and actions, organs of actions. It says, hey, Surya Deva was injected with Papa Karma by Asuras. That's the reason why we see good and bad things. Agni Deva was injected by Asuras. That's why we talk good and bad things. Dik Devatas were injected with Papa Karma. That's why we hear good and bad things. Right? Manom Abhimani Devatas, Indra was injected by Asuras. That's why we think good and bad things. Right? When we think bad things, it is Asura Avesha of the. Right? And then finally it says, Asuras try to inject Papa Karma to Pranadeva, the life force. And it says, just like a ball of clay, when you throw at a rock, what happens? The ball of clay is destroyed. Asuras were destroyed. And therefore, if you want to get rid of evil, you need to take the support of the topmost, which is Pranadeva. Right? And then Garuda, Shesha. These are, if you look at all of these gods, these are all Ugra Devatas. Right? You look at Hanuman, he'll have his sword and everything ready. Right? And in the Ramayana, who did the biggest havoc to the Daityas? Hanuman, right? Killed everybody. In Mahabharata, Bhimasena killed everybody. So when he is there, evil cannot stand. And they are not like today's world. Evil, then and there, they do it. Right? Ugra Devatas, Garuda, nothing. If something is evil, they just destroyed. No sympathy, nothing like that. Rudra, again. But Rudra, there is a little bit, because he helps them. Rudra is very kind-hearted. Right? So if some Asura prays to him, he will give. Because it's his nature to give. Shiva's nature is to give. Right? Very easy to give.
So is Brahma's. Again,
not Brahma.
Puranic stories where, you have these Asuras praying to Brahma to
Correct.
get all the boons.
Yeah.
So, and they get them.
No, they do get them because of their efforts. They do get them.
Exactly.
But Shiva gives very fast.
Faster.
Yeah, very fast. And if you look at all the Asuras in all the Puranika story, all of them prayed to, majority to Shiva, some to Brahma. Right? Shiva, because Shiva is Tamo Abhimani. His Gana is nothing but Rakshasas and Asuras and Paishachas. They are in his group. Right? He rules that. Shiva rules that. Just like Parvati rules, Tamas, Tamo Guna. Right? The same way Shiva rules Tamo, Asuras, Paishachas. He rules that. He is the king of them. Right? He rules the Tamas. So they approach him first. They do not approach Brahma. They approach him. And then he gives them very fast. But again, finally, they cannot affect him. But they can get things done through him. But again, then finally, they use it and grow evil, and then finally the Devata Shaktis come out and then destroy it. Neutralize it, right? So it is always, remember, Asuras are never completely uprooted. They are always sent to their realm. The problem is, in Vedanta, everybody has their place and time. And you should be there. When the Asuras escape Patala Loka, Radho Lokas and come to Jano Lokas or Urdhva Lokas and Bhuloka, that is the problem. That's when they fight and they send them back. When they go there, Devas never go to Patala and kill them, every one of them, and come back. No, they never do that. But Asuras always emerge out of Patala, to the your Martya Loka and the Deva Lokas and try to usurp.
Now you do have the situation where some of the Asuras evolve to the point where they achieve a very high status, like Prahlad.
No, he was born in Asura Jati.
Yes. Or even
Ravana only.
No, Ravana was.
Asura, but
Yeah, Bali. Then you have Bali, for example, who also achieved a very high status.
Who is Bali? Oh, Vali.
Bali.
No, Vali. No, Vali is Suryadeva. Surya Avatara. He's not Asura.
I thought he was Asura. You know, the one where
That's Bali Chakra.
Bali.
Oh, Bali. Bali. Yes.
Put on
Correct.
his head.
Yeah. Bali is the next Indra.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
But he transcends his Asurite nature and
He does not transcend. I mean, because that's not his hata. Nobody gets the position of Indra unless they have the swabhava to get there. Nobody. Like Ravana or Shishu. If you look at a Mahabharata story, Krishna killed Shishupala, goes to Urdhva Lokas. Why is that? Because Shishupala was by Swabhava not a bad person. It is by curse he becomes like that, right? He becomes Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana Kumbhakarna, Shishupala Dantavakra. So they are originally by Swabhava divine, who become cursed to be born in Asura Yonis. Right? And then once that is cleared, they go back to their Swabhava. So they are in Prabhava in these things. And then they get back to Swabhava when they are cleared of all the karmas. And then they Jai Vijay, right? So they're like that. So otherwise, because there are schools of thought which say, hey, you know what? You don't need to do Bhagavat Stuti. You can also do Bhagavat Ninda and get moksha. Look at Shishupala. Please, no. Otherwise, why would Purana give you the whole story of what they were in the beginning, what happened? So it's not like that. So bhakti is the path. You cannot have dvesha and also get Paramatma. You can only get Paramatma through bhakti, not through dvesha. Right? So,
the devtas, are they bound by the karma theory as well?
yes.
They're totally so they can.
But again, remember, they are bound, but they are the ones who are keepers of karma. I mean, they are giving karmas to us. But for them, it is their higher thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But they are transcended this kind of karma. Right? We are talking in terms of our prarabdha karma, our sanchita karma and all that. For them, it's a different thing. But again, everybody is bound by karma because they are bound by nature. But for them, it is always evolution. For us, we are like in the middle. We can go up, we can stay here, we can go down. Anything is possible. But in that position, the only way is up. They only evolve to a certain point and then they become muktas. For example, Hanuman is Bhavi Brahma. That means Hanuman will become the future Brahma in the next cycle. When the next cycle of creation, he is the Brahma. Just like Bali will become Indra, but in the next Manvantara, for Brahma, the whole life of Brahma is creation. Right? So only in the next creation of the universe, after the total dissolution, the next creation, whatever trillion years after, when that happens, today's Brahma becomes Mukta. Hanuman, who is today's Prana, will attain the position of Brahma and do sadhana for his 100 years, which is so many trillion years for us, and then he becomes Mukta. So each one goes to... But some of them, it's all Yogyata, it's called Yogyata. I mean, what is your size of the cup? If you have a big cup, like for example, Brahma has a big cup, so he has to do sadhana, because look at this. A man does, let's say, does sadhana for some lives and becomes Mukta. Brahma has to do sadhanas for 100 years of his life, which is so many trillion years. He will also become Mukta. What is the difference between me and Brahma then? Right? So, my sadhana is to fill my cup. Brahma's sadhana is to fill his ocean. But a full cup and full ocean are both full. Right? I do not become jealous or envious of Brahma because I am full. I don't care about a bigger cup. The same with Brahma. So each one is a different size of cup. Right? What is important is being full in that size. Right? It's not like all of us are equal. We are all different. We need different amounts of sadhanas to fulfill that cup to become muktas. So it is not like today's Indra has to become Brahma to become a mukta. No. Indra can become a mukta from that position itself but that will be that size of the cup. When he becomes the mukta from Brahma's size, it will become bigger size of Ananda. Ananda, coming out will be different for different people. Right? So many things like that. So this is each one is supporting each other, right? The Manavas are supporting Devatas, and Devatas get strength by Manavas giving, and the Devatas give back by supporting Manavas' efforts. So this is a connection between nature and man. When we give, they give back, then we give back, and they give back, and they both support. So we should support each other. Devas support us, we should support Devas. Devas support us, we should support Devas. Right? Then Brahma says, Ishtan bhogan hi vaha devaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha. When they are yajna bhavita, that means satisfied by your giving, by your offering, Ishtan bhogan dasyante. Whatever you desire. What is this then? Nishkama karma, kama karma. Kamya karma, right? So if you but again, even though it says Ishtan bhogan, it becomes kama karma. Ishtan can be even knowledge as well, right? So you can have any ishta. You can have sattvika ishta, rajasa ishta, both. So if you want bhoga, dasyante, they give you. Yajna bhavita, because they're completely satisfied by what you have offered. Which of the 5 yajnas is this? Is this Pitru Yajna? Huh? Daiva Yajna, correct. So Krishna is only giving an instance of one Yajna. What is the relationship between man and nature? That is what he's saying. Again, the same could be said of man and ancestors. And then man and animal world. And the man and rishis and all of these things. But again, the giver of all the karmas and the fruits are always devatas, but again in these different domains. But when we are talking about nature, we are talking about devas. Right? The same way you can talk about different domains. For example, I'll give you an example of Krishna is giving an example of nature. I can give you an example of Bhuta Yajna. People who have dogs, right? When you feed dog, did you know that it satisfies Ketu? Right? Or feeding black ants satisfies Shani. It's not here.
And also you mentioned about sparrows.
Sparrows, right? Yeah. Yeah, right? So, but these were all part of the daily life in India. So all the karmas were, easily cleared. So that is the thing. So even by doing those things, feeding ants, or feeding dog, or say feeding all these things, you are actually giving to the nature, and to the animal world. Devatas get satisfied through that. They give back.
So you sustain the nature.
Yeah. So when you give back, not only when they support you, that means they're manipulating, they are multiplying your efforts and minimizing your prarabdha. I mean, if the prarabdha is drida prarabdha, then they'll give you the strength to be able to take it, right? If you take dukkha with a good attitude, then the dukkha will not cause that much of a problem. But again, what this giving in any domain, feeding animals or feeding ants or whatever it is you are clearing those debt and those bad karmas, and the universe supports you. This is a fantastic concept, that you give and then you get. You can give it to the animal world, or you give it to the nature, you give it to your pitrus, you give it to society. But once you do that, you get back. And whatever bad karmas that have accumulated, they get cleared. And I was saying last time that if some of you go to an astrologer and ask for some solution, it will be one of these things. He will say, "Hey, why don't you feed black ants every day?" And then you will be like, "Yeah, what the hell is this?"
Black dog.
Black dog, or black ant. How is my this thing connected with that thing? No, But that's the when we do the Yajna Chakra, I will tell you how those are connected. But the thing is, whenever you do in different domains, they clear your karmic debt.
So what he says, if you are a blue colored ring or something, what does that mean?
No, again, that is you're taking the vibrations of the stone and multiplying what is there. Again, as I told you, the cup size is what it is, right? You cannot manipulate the universe to give you more than what you deserve. Basically, that's it. Water, you might wear all Ratna Vaidurya in whole body, nothing will happen.
Then you have the juror behind you.
So, it's like that. Yeah. It is, you get what you deserve.
But when you give, you should not expect that this thing should be happening. You should do
You
something.
can.
Then
It becomes
there will be
karma.
attachment, right?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. So, if you give without, any care for what the outcome is, because I have to do it, I want to give to the animal world, I want to do this, then yes, that's good. That actually that feeds your higher thinking and your higher shreyas. But if you do, if you go feed ant and think, let my shani get cleared. Yes, you are doing it, giving.
The cycle you are getting into.
Yeah, but it's not feeding your knowledge. That's basically what it is. But again, see, every one of these things, there are things that people say, that would not have made any sense in India. I mean, because these are all in the culture. This will come from your grandmother, grandfather, your father, your mother, whoever. They'll simply say this. My grandfather used to say that. I still remember. Go and feed black ants. And I was completely, like, what is the connection between black ants and this thing? Saturn and black ants. How are they connected? What happens if black ants are satisfied?
And they say, you feed milk to the snake, then it Rahu thing, right?
See, he is expert in
In India, like in lots of traditional family, before they actually enjoy the meal as a family together, they offer the first plate to the cow. That's how I grew up doing it.
No, if you look at when they do in the tradition, before when you sit on the floor, you put anna, your rice on the side.
But it's like whatever you have made, you take the part of that food.
Get the first part,
First part, before you actually start your.
Correct. That's how it should be. That's how it. Krishna also says.
No, it could be just birds, isn't it?
No, cow. See, that is the thing, right? What we have to do is once you understand the spirit of it, you don't need the context of it, right? Now, in Indian context, cow, everything is there. But now, once you understand the spirit of this message, you need to make it relevant to the context in which you are. If you live where crows are there, use the crows. I'm saying.
I've got a lot of fire ants in my backyard. If anybody wants to feed me.
Fire.
A lot of karma.
Fire ants, not fire ants.
So we got dogs here, we got ants there.
Yeah, between a few of us, I think we covered all the planets. Yeah, so this is only talking about what? Bhuta Yajna. When they say go feed this, go feed that, go feed all of these, this is basically talking about Bhuta Yajna. When they say, hey, you have this, hey, why don't you do Aishya Homa? Why don't you do Pavamana Homa? Why don't you do Gana Homa? Which domain are they talking when they say that? No, this one. Deva Yajna. Right? They are talking about Deva Yajna, where you offer the harvest in the fire directly to the Devatas. Right? When they say, hey, go do Pitru Tarpana, go do all of these things, go have kids. I don't know who says that. But it is very important. Right? But when they say that, which domain are you satisfying? Pitru.
So when this Rishi thing comes out?
Sharing knowledge. When you share knowledge, then you're passing on the wisdom from the ancient times. Now, not just, I was talking about not just this knowledge. It is language, culture, and all of this. Samskrita and Samskruti should be passed on to generations. Right? So, when that is passed on, your Pitrus, they get satisfied.
Then it's also give you as a certification as well as
You pass it on, and they spread it, and that helps them. And that will become Rishi Yajna. When you treat your fellow human beings well, you feed them, you have nice things with them, interact them, sharing. See, basically all of this is about sharing. Right? You share with the universe, you give back, you share with fellow human beings, you share with animal kingdom. It's all about sharing and giving. Right? Once you do that as a natural act every day, you don't need anything else to do to clear your karmic debt. Everything will be cleared on its own. Universe will stand in support of your efforts. Okay, so I think we are out of time now. So next time when we meet, Krishna gives an example of what is called as Yajna Chakra. In one particular domain, he talks about, and this is where we can link feeding here. How does it connect there? Because he says, body comes from food, food comes from rain, and rain comes from yajna. Then do no yajna here, it's raining all the time. Or in London, for example, it is rain. I don't think anybody does any yajna there in London, right? Zero yajna. So how is this Krishna saying, hey, body comes from food, food comes from rain, rain comes from yajna. How is that possible? There is yajna without rain too. So that is where we link this domain with that domain. And we'll see what happens. So until next time. Okay. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Om